Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Linda Chen, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at Cyara. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Jessica. Great to be here.
Oh, I'm delighted to talk about the customer experience management space. Now, you guys are providing wonderful technology to provide that quality and assurance for the CX folks, right?
Right, yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. So Cyara is in the customer experience management space. Mm-hmm. We have a SaaS platform that helps the world's best-known brands to assure their customer experiences in their voice and digital channels end to end.
Yeah, so I know that we as consumers, have high expectations.
Yes.
If I'm shopping online for a vacation package or for retail and all that, I do want to make sure that I'm able to get to what I want quickly, have this wonderful experience, and no glitches.
Right.
And given that the consumer expectations there, it also goes into the business expectations too. Right, and even the enterprise space now, we have high expectations when it comes to the CX experience.
Right. You want it to be convenient, you want it to be quick, and you want it to be right every single time. Mm-hmm. And you want it personalized. You want the company to know you and make sure that you have a really great experience. So what people don't realize, and maybe 16 to 20 or even more infrastructure systems that need to work flawlessly together in order to deliver that experience. So I actually had an experience a couple months ago. I was flying internationally, and I got the text message, and it says, please check in, go online. Mm-hmm. And I go online, and then it says, oh, we have an issue with your reservation, please call in. And then I call in, and it says, you can't check in while you're on the phone, you actually have to go on the website. So I was in this death spiral.
Wow.
And then finally I was like, I need to call and get somebody to help me. So I called in, explained what everything was happening, and then they said, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. You're going to have to check in person.
That's so inconvenient.
The next day, and arrive 3 hours earlier. So I eventually was able to get in, but I was like, my heart was pounding. I'm like, do I have a seat on this flight? Do I not? And it turned out it was a code sharing issue between two different airlines. And so they basically didn't have those infrastructure systems connected together.
So if they were working with you, you would be able to help identify some of these issues.
Exactly.
So that pinpoints where they need to improve.
Exactly.
But also you can help them to innovate. Right?
Much quicker, yes. So Cyara basically is a platform that automates the testing and monitoring of all these different systems. So what we do is create these virtual customers. Instead of having you and me going into those systems and saying, hey, this is what's happening, Cyara, the platform, basically will say, at this step, we got dropped. Or at this step, the voice quality wasn't very good. Or at that step, the context didn't get passed on to the other channel.
Or it's taking too long to load.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's what we do. We're in, RPA, which is robotic process automation for customer experience.
Right.
We take a lot of the mundane stuff and we make it flawless and perfect on the back end so these companies can focus on innovating and delighting their customers.
So you're saying you're like this automated secret shopper.
Yes.
Right? And you're constantly doing that.
Yes, constantly in the background. We don't need food, we don't need sleep, and we never complain.
I see. It's like an army of robots going out
exactly.
there.
We have these little robots who are going around. And I remember back in the day before all of these type of technologies were in place, and we would have a new product to launch, and they would say, hey, between hours, 12 and 4, can you guys just mystery shop and call in and, go into the website and click on various things? And it was very haphazard, and we all had, we were very tired after a little while, and we're like, yeah, we kind of did it. So now it's just basically the Cyara platform goes in and just automatically checks every single journey. We can check across different journey, or different channels, and make sure everything's working exactly the way the company wants it to.
One of the big clients of yours is Macy's, and I think recently you have an experience where you helped them address something.
Yes. So Macy's, as most of the people know, is a well-known retailer.
Right.
And so a couple of years ago, on the biggest shopping day ever, so Black Friday, their credit card systems stopped processing. So all of a sudden they had people in the stores tweeting and saying, I'm waiting to shop and to check out and they can't take my credit card.
Oh,
and it was just blowing up all of their social media. And, fortunately, they were able to recover very quickly, and they had a very strong Q4. Well, the Cyara platform was able to detect the issue within 2 minutes of it happening and figured out exactly what step in the process it was starting to fail. It turned out it was a software glitch with one of their third-party credit card processors.
Okay.
And they were able to call them back in from their holidays and say, hey, you need to fix this. And they were back up and running. So that's a situation where a company is trying to recover from an outage. And a lot of the companies we work with, like insurance companies or utilities or, cable companies, it could be millions of dollars per hour.
That's right.
that they have an outage.
Right.
So on the flip side, we help companies innovate faster. So they're all trying to compete on great customer experiences. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Every single company is at its base level a software company.
Yeah, I know with DevOps, that they're releasing new features and functions all the time. And
all the time.
There's always risk when you release something new.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the reason why you want to be continuously testing in the background while you're innovating. So we really help companies get speed and quality as they're innovating. And it's just really amazing to partner with these companies because they're just trying new things all the time, especially around chatbots and AI and machine learning and adding new channels. It's incredibly complex. And these teams that are responsible for the customer experience are under tremendous pressure. So we have a lot of empathy with them. We're in a lot of the tiger rooms with them. It really is about people, process, and technology that needs to be changing and keeping up with the times.
Now, you're in charge of marketing,
Yes.
so you have the fun task of getting the word out,
Yes,
to promote
getting the
the
word
company.
Yes.
So tell me, what are some of the go-to-market strategies? How are things going for you, and some of the challenges you're facing?
Yeah, so we're in a great space where people are really looking to invest, and so what we've been doing is tacking on to a lot of the industry waves. So things like DevOps, as you were mentioning, DevOps has existed in the IT industry for many years, but it really hadn't made its way into the CX space until a couple of years ago. And I like to say that our team really came up with, putting these two things together. And I remember when we first identified, hey, DevOps really should be together with CX, there were a lot of people, including, people in the industry, analysts, they were like, oh, no, that's really on the application development side. It's not on the contact center or infrastructure side. And we said, well, there's no reason why it shouldn't be together. And now, all of a sudden, we're seeing it across the globe in all different industries, from smaller companies to larger companies. They're embracing DevOps and Agile, and they're just going into this continuous testing and continuous innovation phase. So it's pretty exciting.
Are you well known as a dominant player then in this specialty?
We're well known in our space, and so the next challenge is to get to broader, market awareness. And so riding these industry waves, such as DevOps, such as moving to the cloud, such as AI and machine learning, these are ways that you can inject yourself into the conversation in a very natural way. And we have a lot to contribute to that. So it's not just, hey, look at us. It's really about we're helping to teach the industry. We're helping them to have best practices. And a lot of times when we have our industry event, they are loving getting together. It's almost like this rom-com where we have people, rushing towards each other. You're dealing with this? I'm dealing with this.
The whole community.
The whole community comes together. We just are throwing, throwing the party, and they're just sharing these best practices.
Right.
And the stories that are coming out is just amazing.
So that's one strategy that I think is great when you're trying to build a category, is to create that community,
yes.
content,
You're
love,
not
value.
alone. Yeah, absolutely. And it just really has completely snowballed. Each year we continue to get even more, stories coming out, best practices, and the events keep getting bigger and bigger. We do webinars, a lot of thought leadership in this space, because people are like, wow, this is really hard because we have to transform the organization. There are some people who really like doing things the way that it used to be. And so the leaders are, trying to say, hey, we're going to go in this direction, and they run into friction. So we actually are talking about leadership and driving change, and it's not just selling a platform. It's really about how do you move these companies into, faster cadence and breaking down silos. So it's been an amazing transformation, and it really is across all of these different touch points. So some are digital, some are face-to-face, some are, advertising. All of those things need to be in sync.
So the company is growing. You are hiring
very quickly. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are hiring a lot. So
in all departments.
Yeah, in all departments. So send in your resumes.
Yes.
But it's very exciting. It's just completely taking off, and we are just seeing so many industries and leaders from all different levels that are just saying, hey, we really need to invest in this, and they want help, and we're there to help them. So we always say, hey, do the right thing, help the customer. We're customer obsessed, and I know a lot of companies say that, but we really believe it. We focus on getting the best outcomes that we can for our customers, and then worrying about all the other stuff later.
So you have great technology, great people, a lot of consulting expertise to help clients get where they want to go.
Yeah, we worked with, as I mentioned, some of the world's largest companies, and some of them have, 85,000 agents all over the globe.
Wow.
So tremendous scope. We also work with, smaller companies as well, and they care about every single one of their customers, as do, the larger companies. I'd love to share this story about Ajiro, who is a software provider for in-vehicle roadside assistance. And so they're white labels, so most people don't know their name, but they certainly know if they need a call for roadside assistance from their car. Ajiro is usually the provider of that service.
I see.
So they have 3 or 4 different channels that are involved in every single one of those touch points. And if you put yourself in, in a customer's shoes, you're stranded on the side of the road, you may have kids in the back seat, you don't know what's going on with your car, you may not even really know where you are. So they basically came up with this visual IVR, which is almost like a touchscreen mobile application, but it leverages your GPS, it knows your location, it knows what your driver's license is, and all of those things which you may be like fumbling with, and you don't have to worry about it. And it basically makes a call out to a towing company or getting help out to you as quickly as possible, and you can track that end to end. So they really leaned on Cyara to help them, automate some of the testing as they were bringing on this new application. And they basically said, it needs to be flawless, because in our case, it is really potentially a life or death situation, and we cannot have one of those flaws happen. They cannot drop a call, or they cannot, forget to answer one of these distress calls. So they absolutely invest in their innovation, and we had their VP get up and share his story about how they innovated and how they really needed to make sure that as they were bringing in new technology, they weren't breaking something else that used to work.
Great story. I mean, that's just a very life death kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, in even businesses where it's not like that, but I feel like CX is a competitive edge.
Yes.
And so everybody probably could use your technology, CX assurance, right?
We definitely think so. And I remember when Amazon announced that they were going to purchase Whole Foods, it was like, okay, there is no industry that is safe from digital transformation, and the expectations are sky high at this point. And there was, a stat in Forbes that said $75 billion worth of commerce is switching because consumers are saying, I had a poor experience here, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yes.
And, they probably told 100 of their closest friends. So it is, we like to say we're in the experience economy, and businesses are being born because they deliver great experiences, and they're also being, killed because of poor experience.
If they don't provide
it. Yeah, every time.
It's been a great conversation, Linda. Thanks for talking about CX assurance.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Linda Chen from Cyara.